Hey there, I'm Brian Moses, founder of Real Estate Training Breakthroughs, customized coaching and seminars, and real estate coach and trainer to many of North America's most successful agents. I coach individual agents who do more than 100 transactions all by themselves, and I coach teams and mega teams that do millions and millions of dollars in annual commissions and sell hundreds of homes, 5, 6, 700 homes a year. And in order to do that type of volume, whether you're an individual agent or building a team or have a team, you need to have systems and processes. Recently, we shared a training with you about buyer qualifying. So I thought I would do one on the seller side of the fence. Talk about how do you efficiently, effectively qualify your listing appointment. When you go on a listing appointment, are you trying to get the listing in one step or two? I talk to agents every day all over the country. We do business evaluation calls. And many agents don't know that there is a system and a process you can follow where you can eliminate your time in half and get the listing on the first attempt. How cool would that be? In order to effectively do that, you need to ask the appropriate qualifying questions at the right time. What I don't want you to do, and there are always exceptions to every rule, but what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to start qualifying until you get the appointment. So whether you have an internet lead, a personal referral, somebody in your community that just bumped into you, knows you're a real estate professional, and they're thinking about selling, I want you to resist the temptation to jump all over and ask all these qualifying questions. They will come across as self-serving. When it comes across as self-serving, when you're more interested in yourself than the client, rapport goes right down the toilet. So instead, we'll offer something of value. Watch for future trainings on how to effectively book and schedule a seller appointment. But once you have an agreement that somebody's willing to let you come over their house, potentially do a listing presentation with you, talk to you about selling their home, I want you to ask the following questions. And I have 15 specific questions I ask a seller. In fact, I want you to think about how many questions do you ask to qualify the appointment. It's not just about finding out whether they have equity, whether they're willing to price the property correctly, but it's also to set yourself up to win, right? Have you ever gone on a listing appointment and you failed to ask a question and then it came back to bite you in the ass? We want to avoid that. So over the years, I've documented my systems and processes. I've made them better. I've been in the business almost 30 years, folks. And just as recently as last month, we've made some edits and updates to our seller qualifying to make it better, to make it more effective for my coaching clients. And we're going to share those with you today. So once the appointment's booked, we always want to start with the easy questions first, make it conversational so that they don't feel like they're being grilled. So I always position it like this. Hey, that's fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday at 4 o'clock so that I can prepare for when we get together. So you make it about doing a great job. So that I can prepare and do an amazing job for you, let me ask you, are there any other properties you're thinking about selling other than the one I'm coming to visit? Now that's the first question. 90% of the time there isn't, but if somebody owns multiple properties, would you like to know about it? I asked that question for the simple reason that I got burned. I went out and listed a home, got it listed, and then find out he had 3 more. Found out the gentleman had 3 more and he listed them with somebody else, only because I didn't ask the question. He's like, I didn't even think of it. People think we're all the same, so let's gather as much information. So are there any properties that you're also considering selling? Okay, I have your contact information. Could I get a work number or a cell phone number or an additional number in case I need to reach you? What about email? Now, in case they cancel, I want to have multiple ways to reach this person. If I can call them at work, I'm going to have a higher percentage of getting through the receptionist and to that person than maybe reaching them on the cell phone. The more options you have, the more you increase your chances. Third question, tell me a little bit about your home. Bedrooms, baths, Any recent renovations or improvements? I want to listen to their tonality, and I want to know, have they done anything that they're super excited about, that they think perhaps is going to add another $10, $15, $20,000 or more to their house? So I want to pull that out in the third question. I also want to ask, what have you enjoyed most about your home? Now, the reason I ask that, folks, is because I got burned by not asking that question. I remember going on an appointment and didn't get the listing. One of the rare times that I didn't. I was pretty effective, but every time I lose, I go back to the drawing board and see what I could have done differently. I reached out to that woman, and she was kind enough to tell me the truth. She said, you know, I spent years building my tomato garden in the backyard, and you didn't even comment on it. You didn't even mention it. And I'm like, seriously, lady? A tomato garden? So here's why I asked this question at point 3, question number 3. What have you enjoyed about the home? Had she told me I really love my tomato garden, that would be helpful to know, and I could make that a point of conversation. So you don't want to miss out on people's hot buttons. Another question that I ask is, in addition to your tomato garden, in addition to your in-ground pool, in addition to whatever they told me, your pool house, your basement, your media room, in addition to what you've enjoyed most about the home, what do you think prospective buyers would enjoy about your home? Oh, well, Brian, we have a master bedroom with a in-law apartment or a suite or a bath or whatever the case may be. So we want to make note of that. I also want to ask, have you done any renovations, or are you planning to? If they're planning to, they may not need to. So I might be able to differentiate myself and save them some money there. I had a person one time when I asked that question say, yeah, we're going to repave the driveway. Well, how much is that going to cost? It's going to cost $18,000. Hey, time out. If we could sell your house and you didn't have to repave the driveway, would you be open to that? Yeah, that would save me $18,000. So let's pump the brakes on that. Wait till I get there, and I'll make some recommendations of what you can do that's inexpensive to increase your saleability. Also point out things that you're thinking of doing that you don't have to or shouldn't do. Long story short, we got that property sold in like 3 weeks, over asking price, and we saved him $18,000 in asphalt expense. Question number 4. How much are you hoping to sell your home for? Now, this is a pretty basic, elementary question that most trainers teach you to ask at some point in the process. We ask it at step 4, question number 4. Many times people will say, well, Brian, that's why you're coming over here. We want to get your input. We have no idea what it's worth. Well, I don't go down to question 5, 6, or 7 without getting an answer at question 4. So make note of that. We don't want to go deeper unless we go wider. I never want to go on a listing appointment without having some sense of understanding of what a seller is hoping to get their home sold for. Everybody has a number. I have a number. I'm not in the market to sell my home. I love where I live. But let me tell you, for the right price, I'd sell my home in a second. So if they don't give you a number, no problem. I'm happy to help you. I understand you don't really know. Can you give me a ballpark range so that I can look for comparables? I'm going to bring with me recent sales that want to substantiate the highest end of the market. So in order to do that, could you give me a range? And they go, well, we think probably somewhere between 450 and 500,000. Well, now, folks, guess what the number is? It's 500,000. So you're not walking in blind. Great. If they still don't give you a number, 4C, A, B, C. 4, I'm still on 4, but I'm going wide. A, how much were you hoping to sell for? B, can you give me a ballpark? If I still don't have a number, C, when did you buy the property and what did you pay for it when you bought it? So historically, I know that if they bought the property 10 years ago and the price was X, I know today prices are up or down over 10 years ago. So it'll give me some sense of market. I can also ask 4D. Do you think the home has gone up or gone down in value? Oh my God, are you nuts? Are you living under a rock? It's gone up. Where have you been? Okay, how much would you guess? Well, I would guess that it went up $200,000. Good to know. So you paid 4, now you think it's worth 6. That's helpful, Mr. Seller. Are you aware of, so this is 4E, A, B, C, D, E, if I still don't have a number, are you aware of any other homes that have sold recently in your neighborhood? Nope. 4F. What would be a number that would excite you so that I can look for comparables and see if I can substantiate that number? So folks, how much are you hoping to sell the home for? You've all asked that question. We have some of the most successful agents in the world coaching with me. They don't go that wide when they qualify the seller. So this will be very, very useful for you, whether you're brand new, whether you have a team, or whether you're one of the most successful agents in the world. Question number 5. How much do you presently owe on your home? Well, what do you need to know that for? Well, I was curious if you had any equity. Wrong answer, folks. Right? How much do you presently owe on your home? Of course, I want to know if they have equity, but I want to position it as a benefit. So the reason I asked you that, Mr. Seller, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to offend you, one of the benefits of me coming over is not only will I tell you what homes sell for, I'll give you a detailed list of all of the expenses when you sell your home. You know, Mr. Seller, your mortgage is generally your biggest expense, so that's why I asked. What's your approximate payoff? So folks, question number 5, we want to know what they owe on the property. So question 6 is optional. If they don't have a mortgage, I want you to demonstrate the fact that you know what the hell you're doing, that you're an expert. If they have no mortgage, I want you to shine amongst the masses. So if they tell you they have no mortgage, they own the property free and clear, I want you to ask this. Even though most of the time they probably won't go along with it, it shows that you know your stuff. So anytime a seller says they have no mortgage, I ask them, okay, I'm curious, are you open to any owner financing? Because it could help you avoid capital gains taxes. It could also increase the demand on your home where you get a consistent return on investment each and every month. Does that appeal to you, Mr. Seller, or do you want all your cash and equity out of the property? Now, folks, if they say, yeah, we'd be open to that, we don't need the cash out, by the way, that is a slam dunk, sell it to your own buyer. That's another training. But if I've got somebody who's willing to be the bank, holy smokes, I can double in that deal 9 times out of 10. Question 7, which is important to you? Which is more important to you, Mr. Seller? Getting the most amount of money for your home or selling it quickly? 99% of the time, it's getting the most amount of money. If they say selling it quickly, what do you mean by quickly? Quick and speed vary greatly amongst 2 different people. Somebody quick is in a week, a month. Somebody it's in 4 months or 6 months. So you always want to make sure that you understand what they're saying and you're not interpreting it based on the meaning that you give the word quick or fast. So question 7, what's more important to you, getting the most amount of money or selling it quickly? Question 8, we're halfway through this. What's your ideal time frame? If you could wave a magic wand, when would you like to move? Pretty simple. Question 9, are you staying in the area, moving out of the area? If it's out of the area, potentially a referral opportunity. If they're staying in the area, ding, ding, buyer opportunity for you. So I want to know what we're dealing with here. So 8 and 9 are pretty simple. Question number 10, is the deed to the property in your name individually, jointly with another person, or in a trust? Again, folks, there's strategy involved in every question that I ask. One strategy is I want to position myself as an expert. So by asking that question, I'm clearly telling people I know what I'm doing. But secondly, if the property is jointly owned with their spouse or significant other, I want to make sure they're there. How many times have you, I can count too many times for me in the early years, going on an appointment and all decision makers weren't there? Now, shame on us as an industry. There are agents, probably agents in your office, who will ask this question just that way. Hey, will all decision makers be there when we meet? No, that's so self-serving. So instead, I repackage it. Is the deed to the property in your name individually, jointly, or with someone else? Oh, it's my wife and I. Fantastic. Will they be available when we meet? No, I'm handling it. Okay, that's fine. I love that you're handling it. Would it be possible for us to set a time where they could just give us 10 or 15 minutes? Because many times your spouse, significant other has a perspective that adds value to the sale of your home. They point out things that they've enjoyed about living there that really you didn't even think of. So would there be a time that would be available where we could get his or her input? If they're available for 10 or 15 minutes, they're going to be available for the whole appointment. So that's really, really helpful. Question number 11. Are you speaking with anyone else about the sale of the property? Yes, we are. We're talking to 3 other real estate agents. Fantastic. I don't blame you. You know, there's a lot of different agents. You want to find out who's going to best represent you. Do you mind if I ask who? I'm just curious. When are you meeting with them? Now, if you're a mega agent, if you're selling hundreds of homes per year, I'm going to give you an added tip. In our market, when my competition found out that I was meeting the seller, that I was their competition, sometimes some of the shady characters, the desperate agents, the agents that didn't have a lot of skill, would speak ill of us. Can you believe that? So I got preemptive and proactive about that. And I would say, you know, Mr. Seller, that's fantastic that you're talking to other people. I just want to alert you that we're one of the top agents in the marketplace. And sometimes agents feel threatened by us. And they will say things about us that just aren't true. Like you'll never hear from me or that I have a team. So consider if anybody is speaking disparagingly about me or my team or talks down about us as a competitor, I want you to use your common sense and think about, is it because they're super successful or they feel threatened and inferior? So if you're not a mega agent, we'll get you to become a mega agent status if you want to, but we want to be strategical and dot all the I's and cross all the T's. I think you mega agents out there will like adding that one. If they say they're not meeting with anyone, fantastic. I look forward to seeing you. Now, if they are meeting with someone else, question number 12, hey, we were scheduled to meet on Tuesday. You said you were meeting with someone else on Tuesday as well and somebody on Wednesday. I have a huge favor to ask if that's okay, Mr. Seller. And pause. And they'll go, yeah, Bri, what's that? I'd like to come last because what I've found is that I can show you everything we do over and above all the other agents to get you the best price for your home. We do a lot of things innovatively and differently, and they really stand out much more after you've met with the other agents. If I show you, it's not going to be as impactful. So would it be possible for me to come on Thursday or Friday? And I reschedule the appointment. So question number 13, or statement. Mr. Seller, this has been super helpful. So that I can really exceed your expectations and over-deliver, aside from getting the most amount of money for your home and selling it, obviously, is there anything else specifically that you're looking for in an agent? Folks, you'll hear things like marketing is really important, advertising, commission might be important. They might say, what do you charge? And I'll say, you know, real estate fees are negotiable. We'll be happy to talk about how we can get you the best value, the lowest fee when we get out there. So I'm going to push it aside, but I want to know what I'm getting into, what's important to them so that I can address it when I'm there. Question 14. In a declining market, which for most of us, we've been in an appreciating market. So you can file this away, but if the market ever tanks, you can ask, how much equity do you feel you have in the home or don't have? Or are you concerned at all, Mr. Seller, about the equity in your home? And then more importantly, if you don't think you have any equity or you have very little equity and you had to pay some of the expenses associated with selling the home out of pocket, are you in a position to handle that? Or would you prefer to keep the house, or is renting an option? So, you know, good professionals don't hide from the difficult question. There's a great book. It's called The Hard Thing About the Hard Thing. That's an example of asking the hard questions. If you're interviewing, training, growing a team, there's some great insights in that book as well. And then lastly, question 15, and I know the market has changed dramatically since I was last selling real estate, but I still do this today, and I would recommend that you do this as well. Hey, Mr. Seller, you've been really, really helpful. I wish all my clients were as helpful as you. Could you do me a favor? Do you have a pen and paper handy? Yeah, hold on, Brian. Great. If you have a copy of your deed, your tax bill, your plot plan, a previous listing sheet, and should you decide to put the home on the market, we'll need a spare key, okay? Okay, Brian. Do you need a reminder call, Mr. Seller, or are we all set? Nope, I'll see you Tuesday, or I'll see you Thursday, or whatever day we set the appointment. Now, why would I ask for the deed, the tax bill, and the plot plan, and a previous listing sheet when all of that's accessible on the internet? Because I want to get the seller involved. It's called vesting. The more vested someone is in your process, the more likely they are to do business with you. Folks, I'm Brian Moses. I hope that was really, really helpful. If you enjoyed that, this document is available to our members. We have the Ultimate Real Estate Blueprint, which you can look up online. We sell it. It's not an inexpensive proposition. But as you can see, little things make a difference. The Ultimate Real Estate Blueprint is a comprehensive library. It's got all my scripts, all my tools. You can look it up online. But better than that, we'll give it to you for free if you're a member of our Inner Circle community. So if you go to brianmosesinnercircle.com, you can hear all about all the great bonuses and goodies we bribe you with to get you to join our community. We want to make a difference in your life. It's really that simple. So we'll give you all our training for free just for being part of our Inner Circle. So go to brianmosesinnercircle.com, and I appreciate you investing your time and listening to our trainings.